Hello there, welcome to CoreTV News at 4. I am Gift Ogete. President Muhammadu Buhari has returned to the country after a further visit to the U.S. He returned before dawn on Thursday and was received on arrival by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. While in the U.S., President Buhari met with his American counterpart Barack Obama on security and economic issues. The two leaders discussed Buhari's economic plans and how the possibility of helping Nigeria retrieve about $150 billion alleged to have been stolen by public office holders in the last 10 years. The president also rejected overtures from the Americans on gay rights by telling U.S. lawmakers that sodomy is prohibited in Nigeria, and as such, gay marriage cannot be legalized. Before returning, Buhari met a cross-section of Nigerians living in the U.S. and also played host to his old schoolmates at the War College. Oil thieves, including former ministers and some prominent individuals, have been put on notice. The law is coming after them. Muhammad Buhari did not give names but spoke on how they plundered Nigeria's economy by stealing 1 million barrels of crude oil daily, selling the stuff overseas and lodging the proceeds in their personal accounts. Buhari spoke at the Nigerian Embassy in Washington, D.C., United States, USA, partly with members of Nigerians and diaspora organization NIDO as part of his 4-day visit to the U.S. The statement reported Buhari as vowing to trace the accounts of individuals who stashed away ill-gotten oil money, freeze such accounts, recover the loot, and prosecute the culprits. There appeared to be a crack in the camp of Loyalty Group, headed by Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, as two members of the caucus have disowned the letter written to the chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Chief John Oyegun, insisting on party supremacy in the selection of the principal officers of the House of Representatives. Both members also called on the party to accept the Speaker, Yakubu Dogara's concession of the two major principal positions to the Loyalist group in the interest of peace and stability. Mokhtari Dandust and Honorable Tijani Abu Kadar, in a statement issued Wednesday, said the July 18, 2015 letter to Yegun signed by Honorable Nasiru Sani did not reflect the wishes of the group, as it did not emanate from any formal or collective meeting of the Loyalist group. Suspected Boko Haram terrorists have burnt down houses, including the family house of the Chief of Army Staff, Major General Tukur Burantai, in his village in Borno State. At least 2 people were killed and 8 injured during the attack on Burantai village. Reports has it that the terrorists killed 2 auto mechanics and searched some houses during the attack on the community. Meanwhile, additional roads have been cleared on landmines by troops for use by commuters in compliance with the directive by the CAS to troops in the 3 and 7 divisions of the Nigerian Army. The Acting Director, Army Public Relations, Colonel Sani Usman, said in a statement that the road linking Biu Samwangari to Dabwa in Borno State has been cleared of landmines. The National Emergency Management Agency on Thursday confirmed that 29 persons were killed in Wednesday's attack at 2 motor parks in Gombe. The information officer of the agency in Gombe State, Umar Madigawa, says the explosion at Dadin Kowa Motor Park occurred at 7:15 p.m. on Wednesday, and that of Dukuku Motor Park happened shortly after that at 8:30 p.m. The Nigerian Army says the change in the operational name of the war against insurgency from Operation Zaman Lafiya to Lafiya Dole is a strategy for total warfare against the terrorists, their sympathizers and sponsors. Army spokesperson Colonel Sani Usman revealed that the military is more committed and determined to ending the Boko Haram menace now that the command and control center is now fully operational in Maiduguri. He also wants members of the public to continue to provide useful information to the military on the insurgents and their activities. It's CoreTV News at 4. We'll take our first break. Stay with us.
Is it crazy or autocracy? Or what type of crazy is that? Except crazy.
News making the headlines.
Black Maria is to carry criminals, trading looters that are in government today.
Sometimes it gets confrontational.
Slap you in the face. They don't put words into my mouth. Whatever it is that will bring our military to disrepute, I said to hell
On
with it.
Core Digest,
I want to know why I should be believing them.
every weekday, we bring all of these together and take them to the court of public opinion.
Everybody has a right in Nigeria.
Where you are the judge.
Der Torschütze zum zwischenzeitlichen 1-1. Semenike schickt Musa, da ist Ahmed Musa! Und da ist der Ausgleich!
It's a beautiful Saturday evening in the city of Lagos.
Off the turn, Phelps had it, but then Matsui kept going.
Finals. 5 to shoot. Leonard does.
Sports is concerned, and of course making a difference for all of us here from all our production. I hope one will bless up.
Back now for more information on CoreTV News. You can reach us on our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/CoreTV News. On Twitter at CoreTV News NG. And YouTube at youtube.com/CoreTV /Space News. The All Progressives Congress APC in Akwa Ibom State on Wednesday announced the suspension of 41 members of the party over what it described as misconduct and anti-party activities. The newly elected published secretary of the party, Mr. Eta Akwang, who announced the suspension of the party members, said the offences included anti-party activities, disobedient in carrying out lawful directives of the party, as well as creating parallel party organs. According to him, the conduct of the affected members contravenes Section 21 of the party's constitution as amended, saying the decision was taken during a meeting of its state executive committee held at the party's secretariat on July 20. Governors of the 36 states in the country have converged in Abuja under the auspices of the Nigeria Governors Forum AGF ahead of today's National Economic Council meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari. However, before the meeting of the NGF, which got underway, governors elected on the platform of the ruling All Progressives Congress APC and the People's Democratic Party PDP held separate meetings at various locations in the city to strategize on how to engage each other on the critical issues likely to come up during the forum's meeting. The PDP governors have expressed concern over the rise and spate of Boko Haram attacks in the northeastern part of the country. The governors of the opposition parties said the situation had become worrisome, adding that despite the security measures by the armed forces, the terrorists seem to be intensifying its attack and causing more deaths, injuries and damage to properties. Embattled former National Security Advisor Sambo Dasuki has denied arresting President Muhammadu Buhari shortly after he was overthrown as a military head of state in August 1985. He also said he had supported Buhari's presidential aspiration in 2003, 2007 and 2011. He admitted being one of those who proposed in 2011 for the former national chairman of the defunct Action Congress of Nigeria, Bisi Akande, to make Buhari a joint candidate of the ACN and the defunct Congress of People's Congress. He further spoke against the backdrop of insinuations that his house arrest might have to do with a retaliation of a similar maltreatment against Buhari in 1985. The ex-NSA also said against the backdrop that he attempted to truncate the election of President Muhammadu Buhari in March and inauguration on May 29. The Department of State Services, DSS, has released the former Chief Security Officer of former President Goodluck Jonathan, Gordon Obua, from detention. Obua was released barely 12 hours after he was paraded before newsmen at the DSS headquarters to quash rumors about his death in custody. The detained security personnel, who seized the opportunity of the unscheduled news conference on Tuesday to speak on his state of health, was released after 5 days in detention. Obua, who himself is a DSS operative, was said to have been grilled as part of investigations into the defense spending under the Jonathan administration.
Expressed very serious concern for the past 6 days because of the prevailing situation between I and my office. This morning, my attention was drawn to the fact that I have died in detention. This has caused serious anxiety within the populace. I want to use this medium to tell Nigerians, members of my family, and all concerned citizens that I'm healthy.
National Union of Rural Transport Workers has expressed confidence in the ability of President Muhammadu Buhari to wage a successful war against corruption in the country. The transporters say a successful crusade would help save the country from economic collapse. Yasin Yajim expressed his union's conviction during a courtesy call on Vice President Yemi Oshibanjo at the Presidential Villa, Abuja.
Taking cognizance of your zero tolerance against corruption, especially during your tenure as the Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice of Lagos State, we are optimistic that you and His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari will continue to involve creative way towards stamping out corruption and insurgency so as to advance the economic prosperity and peaceful coexistence among the Nigerian populace. Register our total support to your administration in view of the purposefully and transparent leadership you are providing to the Nigerian nation, while urging you to keep it up. May I once again re-emphasize that despite the enormity of the task before you and President Muhammadu Buhari, we have implicit confidence in your ability to meet the challenges ahead.
So we are the ones who are responsible for ensuring that this country is well run. We are the ones. President Buhari has said, and I'm sure that when you do get an opportunity to meet him, he will restate this to you. He has said that what this government wants to do is to represent a transparent and open government, a government that believes in the rule of law, a government that will fight corruption, a government that believes that the people of this country, especially the common man, must enjoy the fruits of the produce of this country. Whatever it is that this country has, it must be available in terms of opportunity, in terms of provision for every Nigerian, especially those who have no voice. That is what this government stands for. And we'll keep repeating it, and we'll also demonstrate it by action.
We go now to Imo State, where the governorship election petitions tribunal sitting in Owerri, the Imo State capital, on Wednesday dismissed the petition filed by the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in the April governorship election in the state, Honorable Emeka Ihedioha, for a time lapse. Though the petition was cancelled, Chief Mike Ahamba San expressed shock over the ruling, even as he heads to appeal according to his client's directive. Dismissing the petition, Chairman of the Tribunal, Justice David Wan, agreed with the contention of the lead counsel to Governor Rochas Okorocha, Chief Adeniyi Akintola San, that the petitioner abandoned the petition, having failed to do all he was expected to do after filing, including the payment of the approved fee within the time frame. Addressing journalists at the end of the verdict, Akintola said the petition was clear and was dismissed for running short of the provisions of the Electoral Act, adding that the petition at the tribunal had come to an end, although he said the petitioner has the right to go for appeal.
Well, it was a moot point, a very novel one, which nobody has ever addressed in the annals of Nigerian jurisprudence. It happened that we discovered that the pre-hearing notice filed by the petitioner was submitted on the 23rd of June. But he later went and paid for the filing on the 3rd of July, which was clearly outside the 7 days prescribed by paragraph 18 of the first schedule to the Electoral Act. So we latch on that. And the question now was whether what was paid for. There were two questions really that we posed for determination. Whether mere submission of the letter for pre-hearing notice without payment was valid, and whether the payment made is also a payment made on the 3rd of July will validate the pre-hearing notice that was submitted.
The court decided to rule on the pre-hearing notice application on the ground that application for pre-hearing notice was a jurisdictional matter. That was a surprise to me because the three Supreme Court authorities I gave him stated clearly that it was not jurisdictional. For the Court of Appeal to have been used to override a Supreme Court decision as recent as 2013 and 2014.
Victory in court is Imo's victory. This is again a validation of Imo's mandate to Owele Rochas Okorocha-led government. The election was held April 11th, and the rerun was on the 25th of April. And those are reassuring victory for us, and they decided to go to court. And today the court has spoken, and that shows that the victory is Imo's victory.
Reactions have continued to trail the dissolution of local government chairmen in Plateau State. The chairman of the councils, who had obtained a court order restraining the governor and his representatives from sacking them, are crying foul, fighting to ensure that they regain their offices. Plateau State
Speaking on behalf of the council chairman at the Plateau Police Command, the secretary of Argon and the chairman of Mangu LGA, Caleb Mutfawang, stated that the parties to the suits that initiated the restraining court order included the State Attorney General of the Federation, the State House of Assembly, and he argued that the position of the state government that it has not appointed a State Attorney General before the dissolution of the LGA voided the action of the state government.
It's the Attorney General of the Federation, the Attorney General of Plateau State, and the Plateau State House of Assembly. Now let me say this, that the office of the Attorney General, whether at the state or at the national level, is a constitutional office. It never ceases to exist. And so even if you are going to sue the governor or the president, it usually would be served through the Attorney General.
Mutfawang said the matter in question restrained Governor Lalong from dissolving the LGAs in the state. This, according to him, informed their visit to the police commissioner. He says the action of the governor has prevented them from performing their constitutional duties.
Now, the court order is very specific, restraining the government, all its agents, privies, and anybody connected with government from doing anything that will amount to tampering with the tenure of elected local government councils before the expiry of their tenure. And that also means that the House of Assembly cannot consider the list of caretaker committees because that will be in contempt of the court order.
He added that the council chairmen are hopeful that when the courts return from vacation, it will adjudicate in their favor.
Now let me make this very clear, that this issue is not about the council chairman. It's about the rule of law. It's about good governance. It's about respecting the mandate and wishes of the people of Plateau State. It's not about the council chairman. And therefore, what will happen if this impunity continues is left for the people to decide. But I also believe that when the court returns from its vacation, they will also take appropriate measures to ensure that the sanctity of the court is not trampled upon.
And from Plateau to Kaduna State, where hundreds of aggrieved civil servants in the state are protesting against what they say is an attempt to brand them as ghost workers. The workers, who are from various ministries, departments and agencies, on Wednesday took their protest to the Secretariat of Nigeria Union of Journalists (NUJ) in Kaduna. They accused government officials involved in the ongoing verification exercise of refusing to give them their salary checks after being verified. Amina Nebi has the details.
These government workers stormed the NUJ Secretariat as early as possible in protest. Their mission is to draw attention to what they see as an act of injustice. They claim to have been employed for years but have not been able to withdraw their salaries after verification.
Captured, some of us, and some have not yet been captured. Now the principal problem that is taking us here is to get our check. 2 months ago, I check, come today, come tomorrow, every day from Zaria, some from Kafanchan. Now we got tired. It's like they are even playing with over our intelligence. You meet this banker, will say, go to your ministry will send you back to them. And today is the closing date. Mind you, these people are contractors, these bankers, they are on contract. As we leave here, we intend to go to the government house and to lay our complaint so that His Excellency Erufai should help us.
The aggrieved workers blame the situation on some of the officials involved in the exercise.
Some people, they use temporary voters card to give them their check. But in turn of some people, they will refuse to give them the check.
Now there are some people who are sick. We brought them, they are right there they are right there at the center in the cars. They cannot even go out of their cars. We tried to get to the bank. How will those people be verified? They said they have nothing to do with them again.
Government officials have not commented on the development, but the state government is insisting on verification of its workers as part of steps to cut the costs of governance.
The Arekpo area of the Obafemi Awode local government in Ogun State has once again come under the spotlight for the wrong reasons. The area is well known by many for oil pipeline vandalism and bunkering, with the latest supposed being the early Tuesday morning explosion with varying degrees of casualty given by most sources who spoke on the explosion. This is CoreTV News at 4. We'll take another break. Please stay with us.
This is what the people are saying.
You don't run a big economy with generator. They need to do more in terms of energy and power.
Many things to do for this Nigeria about lights, water, and new TT.
For Nigerians that are not gullible, we know that good laws have done nothing good for this country.
Buhari won the election convincingly. Talk to your husband that you should keep promise about what you said, and because people are watching you, you know, another election is coming.
Also, some people will stand for Yoruba land, will be strong man, you don't die.
This nation is moving forward. The best is going to take place.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook
and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then news. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Welcome back. The UN High Commissioner for Refugee has reported that the refugee camp deep inside Cameroon is receiving many people fleeing Boko Haram violence in Nigeria. Also that many families are living on unstable and dangerous zones on the Nigeria-Cameroon border. Most of the new arrivals had initially stayed close to the border after fleeing clashes between Boko Haram jihadists and Nigerian troops in the hope that they could return home quickly. Dubs audit refugees say they ran from militant attacks in Borno State. The Boko Haram insurgency has killed more than 15,000 people in Nigeria since 2009. The population of the Minawo camp has risen to 44,000 from 30,000 at the same time last year. The UNHCR and Cameroon's government are trying to contact refugees remaining in border territories to see whether they could prefer to come to Minawo or be taken to secure zones inside Nigeria. Dub said the UN agency estimates that nearly 12,000 unregistered refugees are in the northern Cameroon, while Cameroonian authorities put the figure at 17,000. The South African ambassador to Nigeria, Lulu Nguni, on Wednesday said there was no information on the reported release of $15 million arms funds that was confiscated from the federal government in 2014. There had been reports that the money had been released to Nigeria, but the envoy stated that he had yet to get any brief on the issue from his government. The ambassador promised to find out the status of the subjects from Pretoria, but when the correspondent contacted him on Monday, he explained that he had yet to get a feedback from the authorities in South Africa. Mungni declined further talks on the issue. Greece has taken a crucial step towards a bailout after its parliament passed a second set of reforms. The passage of the measures means that negotiations on an 86 billion European Union bailout can begin. The reforms include changes to Greece banking and an overhaul of the judiciary system. Thousands demonstrated outside of Parliament, and the bill was debated, with protests briefly turning violent as petrol bombs were thrown at police. There had been fears of a rebellion by MPs, but Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras was silent. He says he supported it. In total, the measures received 230 votes in favor and 63 against, with 5 abstentions. Among those who voted against were 31 members of his own Caesar party. However, his represents a smaller rebellion than in last week's initial vote. And now to sports, where Chelsea boss Jose Mourinho sprung to defense to new goalkeeper Asmir Begovic after the Bosnian conceded 4 goals against the New York Red Bulls after coming on a half-time substitute in a friendly on Wednesday. Begovic signed from Stoke City this month for £8 million as competition for first-choice keeper Thibaut Courtois was introduced with the English champions 1-0 ahead in New Jersey, but Chelsea ended up losing 4-2. It was very tired, the same as Courtois. When the goalkeepers are very tired, the coordination is low, the agility doesn't exist, and the speed of reaction doesn't exist, Mourinho told reporters. Courtois made a mistake in the first half with the ball in his feet. Begovic in the second half was not sharp in his reaction, but it's a consequence of being tired from training. Bayern Munich have agreed a deal to sign Juventus midfielder Arturo Vidal and say priceless forward Thomas Müller will not be sold this summer. Bayern chairman Karl-Heinz confirmed they have received offers for Müller, 25, who was reported to be a target for Manchester United. He added, there are some players who don't have any price tag. We could be out of our minds to sell Müller. Vidal, 28, has agreed terms with Bayern and will have a medical this weekend. The German champions will pay a reported 26 million euro for the player, who is on holiday after helping Chile win the Copa America last month. Liverpool wrapped up a deal for Christian Benteke on Wednesday, luring the target man to Anfield on a long-term contract, having finally struck a deal to raise or to pierce the Belgian powerhouse away from Aston Villa. According to the Liverpool website, the 24-year-old put pen on paper on a long-term contract with the Reds today after successfully completed a medical in London, bringing to a close several weeks of negotiations between the clubs. British media reported last week that the Merseyside had finally agreed to meet a 32.5 million release clause in the striker's contract, having previously sought and failed to persuade the Midlands club to reduce their asking price. Celtic recovered from a shock early goal from St. Janan to stroll into a Champions League qualifying tie against Karabag. Olafur Karl precise finished briefly. It gave the Icelandic part-timers hope of overturning a 2-0 deficit from the first leg in Glasgow, but an NIR Britain leader and low Charlie drive either side of the internal put the tie beyond. Janan late goal from High Grift and Stefan Johansson added the gloss. And that's our news for this hour. Thank you so much for watching. Please join us again. I am Gift or Gete. Good evening.